Hi everyone, it's Colleen with Artwork by Colleen, and today I'm going to show you how to make a mandala cane. I had a request from one of my customers to do a mandala, and honestly I had to do a little bit of research on it because I really wasn't sure what it was. Now I know. I printed this picture to give me a sample to go by. I'm not going to make it that big and I'm not going to make it quite that detailed, but I wanted to have something to work with. The center of the cane is actually just white wrapped in black. And then for the next section, as you can see, I just layered white and black together and put it in a small piece, rolled it around so it would fit around the cane, then wrapped that in black and then in white. So I decided to do this whole cane in literally nothing but black and white, so I thought it would look kind of cool. Plus, the person I was making it for doesn't really like a lot of different colors because she's more of a subdued dresser, and I'm trying to make earrings for her. So I've got it all together here, the little center section. For the next section, I took some black and I wrapped it in white, and then I'm rolling it out, as you can see, in really skinny tube, I guess you would call it. And what I did was cut them in half, and then I made it like a half circle to go around that piece that's kind of like the centerpiece, or we're basically still working on the centerpiece. So you can see that's got all the white around it. Now I'm going to wrap that in black, and then I'm going to take my stick, which I have just recently bought knitting needles, because as you'll see here in a moment, the stick just completely breaks because, yeah, it's not very strong. And what I'm trying to do is make a little bit of a definition in between those little white loops that we just did, so that there's like literally just a little more definition to it. So the reason for making the little indentations in between to give it some definition is because you can see here, I rolled out super thin white and put it in between each of those definitions. Now I'll roll that again in black, of course trim off the ends. If you notice, I started with a cane that was in about 1.5 inches. However, at this point, it's about 2 inches. You'll see here I have a big chunk of white. I rolled it in a big circle, and then I'm cutting it down the middle, but not all the way through, because what I'm doing here is just putting in thin strips of the black, and I'm making the petals. And if you try to angle it sort of out a little bit so that it goes out from the little triangular top section. And then what I'm going to do is cover it in black, because if you look at the petal design, you see it has like a little line around it. Cover it in a little bit thicker white again, and then one more time, go ahead and cover it in black again. Once you get that petal formed, then you're going to stretch it out to make it really long. And then you can see here that I went ahead and put all the petals on. The next section is going to be black with white around it, and I did the same thing. I cut them in half, so they're like little half circles of black with white wrapped around them. And here you can see I've done the whole cane with them in there, and that cane is getting bigger and bigger, though I never intended it to be quite that big. I bet you that I used at least probably 9 or 10 ounces of clay. I had no intention of using that much. But so the next section I'm doing here, it's just to give it a little bit of it looks like it's a little bit of a hump up. So what I did was I made 3 little circles of the white clay and put them next to each other just to give it a little bit of texture and form. And then I took 2 little pieces of white on the edges and trimmed them down so that they taper down. And it just gives the effect of a little bit more of a, I don't know, almost a crown like leaf kind of thing. Anyway, you can see here, the more you push down in between the two, the more definition it'll give, which is kind of what I wanted to do. So for the next section, I kind of actually forgot to put the camera on, but I made that black and white the way we made the black and white section around the center core. The final section is like white semicircles, and then I put little black triangles in between them for definition, and then I finished the whole thing with a thin layer of black. And then now it's time to reduce it down. It's kind of boring to watch that, so I sort of skip to the end. It's easy, you just roll and squeeze. That's all it is, and it turned out to be a pretty monster-sized cane, to be honest. You'll see it split in two here. That's just one of the smaller sizes. I have quite a few smaller sizes I'll show you at the very end. Thanks for watching. I'd appreciate you liking my video and subscribing to my channel if you haven't already done so. You guys have an awesome day. And here's a quick example of a slab I made.